The war was finally over on Outpost Thatany. The human soldiers stood over the smoking ruins of the Dravik slaver camp. Bodies lay silent, smoke rose into the red sky. For once, humans had one, and one man stood at the center of it, all Logan. He wasn't a high officer or a famous hero. He was just a soldier who refused to die. He had charged into fire, saved prisoners, and taken down the enemy's command tent with his bare hands. The commander of the human camp clapped him on the back. "You've earned a reward," the commander said. Logan didn't smile. He looked around, waiting for the next order, but instead, the commander motioned toward two guards dragging something. Behind them, someone, two alien women, chained at the wrists and ankles, were thrown to the ground like animals. They both had collars around their necks with blinking red lights. One had dark violet skin, glowing gold eyes, and silver tattoos. Across her arms, she stood strong, even in chains, and glared at the humans. The other had pale blue skin and soft, scared eyes. She trembled, her body thin and weak, as if she hadn't eaten in days. "They're both from the Dravik breeding vaults," the commander said. "High value, untouched, and clean." Logan felt sick at the way the commander spoke. They were captured during the raid, and as the hero of this victory, you get to pick one, he added. "One?" Logan asked, confused. "Yes," the commander said, "just one. Take your pick. The other will be sold at the next auction." The men around him laughed and made rude jokes, but Logan didn't move. He looked at the women, the violet-skinned. One met his eyes without fear. The blue-skinned one flinched and lowered her gaze. "What's your name?" Logan asked, softly. The violet one didn't speak. The blue one whispered something, but it was too soft to hear. Logan turned to the commander. "I'll take both," he said, calm but clear. The laughter stopped. The air changed. Silence fell. Over the men around him, "That's not how it works," the commander said sharply. "You take one." "Rules are rules." Logan shook his head. "Then break the rules," he said. "These aren't things. These are people. I won't leave one behind." The commander frowned. "Logan, don't start this," he warned. "You'll lose your rank. You'll be seen as a traitor. Think carefully." Logan stepped forward and removed his weapon belt. "I don't care about rank," he said. "Let me be clear, if I can't free both, I'll walk away from all of this." The commander's eyes narrowed. "You'd throw away everything for two alien slaves?" Logan didn't blink. "They're not slaves," he said. "They're survivors." The violet-skinned woman blinked in surprise. The blue-skinned one finally looked up. A single tear rolled down her cheek. "You've made your choice." The commander said coldly, "Get out. You're no longer part of this unit." "Good," Logan said, and stepped toward the two women. He took out a knife and cut the ropes binding them. The guards tried to stop him, but he stared them down. "No one here has the guts to fight." "Me today," he said. And he was right, that night. Logan stole a small cargo ship and left the outpost with both women. They flew into the dark sky. With alarms behind them and freedom ahead, he had no plan, no allies, no future, but he had made a choice. And that choice would change not just their lives, but the future of two species. In the shadows of the stars, one man had broken the chain, and two alien women had taken their first step toward freedom. But unknown to Logan, the callers, the women. War still blinked red, and someone, far away, was watching. A signal had been sent, and the hunt had already begun. The stars outside the ship's window passed like streaks of light. Logan sat in the pilot seat, hands tight on the controls. He had no idea where they were going, just away from the outpost. Away from the chains, the auction, and the rules he had broken. Behind him, the two alien women sat quietly. They didn't speak, didn't move much, just watched him and each other. The ship was old. A cargo hauler not made for long travel. It rattled as they moved through space, like it might fall apart. Logan turned around and tried to smile. "We'll be safe soon," he said. "Just a little longer." The violet-skinned woman looked at him with sharp golden eyes. She didn't trust him, not yet. The blue-skinned one still looked down, her fingers picking at the edge of the seat. He brought them some water from the supply box. As they drank, he sat across from them. "I'm Logan," he said softly. "You don't have to talk, but I want to know your names." There was silence. Then the blue-skinned girl whispered, "Laura." Logan nodded. "Thank you," he said, looking at the other one. She hesitated, her eyes hard like stone. Then she said, "Vena." Her voice was strong, deep, and angry. "I'm not your pet," she added. Logan raised his hands. "I don't want pets. I want you to be free." Vena looked at him, unsure. She had heard too many promises, too many lies from humans before. They flew for hours until the ship's fuel began to run low. Logan set the autopilot toward a moon near the trade lanes. A place called Refuge Rock, a mining colony turned hideout for traders and runaways. When they landed, Logan made the two women wear hoods and cloaks. "Just until we're inside," he said. "I don't want anyone seeing those collars." The blinking red lights on their necks could attract bounty hunters or slavers. He didn't want to take that chance. Refuge Rock was loud, dirty, and full of strangers. Logan walked fast, guiding them through the metal halls to an old contact Rex. He was a mechanic, smuggler, and someone Logan had once saved in a battle. If anyone would help them, it would be Drex. They entered Drex's repair shop, the walls covered in wires and broken parts. Drex was short, greasy, and always chewing. Something he blinked when he saw Logan. "Logan? You look like you just walked out of a war zone." Something like that. Logan replied, "I need new ID chips, fuel, and clean clothes for my friends." Drex looked at the two women, his eyes narrowing. "You're in trouble," he said. "Those collars, they're Dravik tech." "I know," Logan said. "Can you help?" Drex sighed and scratched his head. "Maybe, but it'll cost you." Logan nodded. "I'll pay whatever it takes." Drex walked off to his back room, saying he'd return in an hour. Logan sat with Laura and Vena in a corner. Laura leaned against the wall, exhausted. Vena sat straight, still watching everything around them. She was always alert, like a soldier ready to fight. Suddenly, Vena leaned closer and whispered, "We're being watched." Logan looked up. Across the room, a man with a datapad was typing fast and glancing their way. "Damn," Logan muttered. "Stay here," he said, and stood up. He walked to the man and grabbed the pad. "Who are you reporting to?" he asked, voice low. The man tried to pull away. "None of your business." Logan slammed the pad on the table. The screen showed a message to Dravik Vault-class units seen on Refuge Rock. "Sending coordinates now." Logan's blood ran cold. He knocked the man out with one hit and ran back. "They know we're here. We have to go." Drex returned just as they were about to leave. "I saw the alert," he said. "I didn't send it. But someone wants that bounty." Vena ripped off her cloak, her golden eyes glowing. "I'm not going back in chains." She growled. "Let them come." Logan shook his head. "No. We don't fight. We run." Laura nodded, her voice small but clear. "I don't want to kill anyone." They rushed back to the ship, alarms already sounding in the colony. Logan jumped into the pilot seat as the first bounty ships appeared on the radar. Shots were fired, but the cargo ship lifted off in time. They flew out into space, dodging fire, heading toward the unknown once more. In the silence after the escape, Logan spoke again. "I'll keep you safe. I promise." This time, Vena didn't look away, and Laura whispered, "You already have, but far away." Someone powerful had seen the alert, and this time, it wasn't just about collars. It was about what was hidden inside the women, and they would stop at nothing to get them back. The stars outside the ship seemed endless. Logan sat in silence, his hands still shaking from the narrow escape at Refuge Rock. They had made it barely, but now they had no fuel, no allies. And nowhere left to run. Behind him, Laura lay on the small cot, her breathing soft. She had passed out after the escape. Her body weak. Vena stood near her, arms crossed, golden eyes full of worry. Even she looked tired, but she wouldn't show it. Logan turned to her. "She okay?" he asked. Vena didn't answer right away. She hasn't eaten properly in days. She finally said she needs rest and food. Logan sighed and nodded. "I'll find something." He searched the storage bay and found an old ration pack. It wasn't much, just a small energy bar and some water, but it was all they had left. He brought it to Vena, who gently woke Laura. Laura blinked up at her, eyes soft and glowing faintly in the dark. When she saw Logan, she smiled a little. "Thank you," she whispered, taking the food carefully. He nodded and sat beside them. After a long silence, Logan asked the question that had been on his mind for days. "Why were you two in the Dravik vaults?" Vena tensed. Laura looked down at her hands, then back at him. "We were not just prisoners," she said quietly. "We were tools. They called us projects." "Projects?" Logan asked, confused. Vena spoke next, her voice harder. "The Dravik believed they could build the perfect warrior. They stole females from rare alien species, ones with special traits. Then they forced them to breed, to create something new, something powerful." Logan's stomach turned. It was worse than he imagined. "They were trying to make weapons out of people," he said. Vena nodded. "They used Laura's kind for something special. Her people were once part of an ancient empire. She carries energy in her blood, real power, not just stories." Logan looked at Laura. Her skin shimmered softly, as if light lived under it. He had seen it before, back at the outpost when she cried, and during the escape. "What kind of power?" he asked. Laura looked nervous. "I don't know exactly," she said. "It wakes up when I'm scared or hurt. I never learned how to use it." Vena added. "She's not a weapon. That's why I protected her. She doesn't belong in chains." Logan leaned back, his mind spinning. So that's why the collars were still blinking. Why the Dravik hadn't stopped chasing them. They weren't just hunting escaped slaves. They were hunting stolen secrets. Suddenly, a red light blinked on the console. Logan stood quickly and ran to the front. A distress signal lit, was weak, but close. Someone was calling for help near a derelict station floating in space. "It might be a trap," Vena warned. Walking up beside him, "I know," Logan said. "But if it's not, maybe we can find supplies." He steered the ship toward the signal. They approached the station. It was old and quiet, drifting like a ghost. The lights were dead, and parts of the structure were broken. Still, Logan docked carefully and opened the airlock. He told Laura to stay on the ship, just in case. Then he and Vena entered the dark station, flashlights in hand. Inside, it was cold and silent. Metal walls covered in dust, wires hanging loose from the ceiling. They moved carefully, searching for anything useful. Fuel, food, parts. Then they found it. A control room with half-lit screens, and a body slumped over a chair. The body was alien, thin, long fingers, pale gray skin. Dead for weeks, maybe months. Vena looked at the screen. "Logan," she said, pointing. He leaned closer. It was a file, half corrupted, but some of it was clear. Subject 47. Laura status. Unstable, energy signature detected. Termination scheduled unless power stabilize. Logan froze. "They were going to kill her?" he asked, voice low. Vena nodded. "She's not just a project, Logan. She's dangerous to them because they can't control her." A sound came from behind them, metal creaking. Then a bang. They turned fast, weapons drawn, but it was just A falling pipe. Still, it reminded them they weren't alone in this galaxy. And the Dravik weren't far behind. Back on the ship, Laura waited. Sitting near the console, suddenly, her hand touched the side of the screen. And it lit up without power. Blue light danced from her fingertips. Her eyes widened. She didn't mean to, but the ship responded to her touch. When Logan and Vena returned, they stopped in shock. The ship's systems were glowing brighter than ever. Laura, what did you do? Logan asked. I think I talked to it, she whispered. I didn't mean to. It just... listened. Logan looked at Vena. She's not a weapon, he said. She might be the key to something much bigger. And far across the galaxy, in a dark hall full of shadows, a tall figure looked at a blinking red dot on a map. She's active, it said. Send the harvesters. The cargo ship glided through space once again. Its engine buzzed softly. Systems now glowing with a strange, steady energy, Laura sat quietly in the back, eyes half closed, hands resting on her knees. Ever since she touched the console, the ship had changed, responding like it was alive. It didn't feel like metal anymore. It felt like it was listening. Logan sat at the front, watching the scanner. He didn't speak much. Not since the last station, the file about Laura still echoed in his head. Termination scheduled. He wouldn't let that happen. Vena stood behind him, arms crossed. We need fuel, she said, and real supplies. I know, Logan replied. There's one place left. He tapped a location into the screen outpost. Kira, a quiet repair stop near the asteroid belt. He had a friend there. Someone he trusted once, Merrick. They served together during the early raids. If anyone would help them, it was him. You sure he won't sell us out? Vena asked, voice sharp. He owes me. Logan said simply, he'd never betray me. They landed on the edge of the outpost. The place looked rough, metal walls patched with rust and old blast marks. Logan led the way, keeping his hood. Lovena walked close behind him, and Laura held tight to Vena's cloak, her glowing skin hidden by thick cloth. Merrick's repair shop was small, but alive with sparks and tools. He looked up as they entered, a big grin spreading across his face. Logan. He laughed, arms wide. You still alive, old dog? Logan smiled and stepped forward, shaking his hand. It's been a while. He said, I need a favor. Merrick's eyes flicked to the two hooded figures behind Logan. I figured, he said. You always bring trouble. They moved into the back room. Logan explained everything except for the part about Laura's powers. He told Merrick about the collars, the Dravik, and the escape. Merrick whistled low. Man, you really stepped in it. Can you help us or not? Vena asked, voice tight. Merrick nodded. Yeah, I'll get you fuel, food. And I know someone who can remove those collars safely. Give me a few hours. Logan relaxed a little. For the first time in days, there was hope. They rested in the back room. Laura fell asleep, her head on Vena's lap. Even Vena looked calm, her eyes softening. But something felt wrong. Logan kept checking the door, his hand never far from his weapon. He trusted Marek, didn't he? 3 hours later, Marek returned with a small bag. Got your supplies, he said, placing it down. But there's a problem. What? Logan asked, standing quickly. Marek didn't look at him. Some patrol ships landed nearby Dravik trackers. They say they're here for repairs. Vena stiffened. It's us. They tracked the collars again. Marek stepped back. You should leave now, he said, before they find you. But Logan noticed something. A tiny red dot blinking on the table under Marek's wrist console. His heart sank. That's a transmitter, he said quietly. Marek's eyes went cold. You always were sharp, he said. I'm sorry, Logan. They offered me too much. Vena moved fast, grabbing Marek by the shirt and slamming him into the wall. You sold us out. She growled. Laura stood frozen in fear, tears rising in her eyes. Logan pulled her close. "We have to move." Now, but it was too late. Outside footsteps echoed through the outpost. Metal boots, heavy and fast. Dravik enforcers were all ready. "Coming, we go through the side door," Logan said, grabbing the supplies. Vena let Marek fall to the floor and ran after them. Laura clutched Logan's hand as they ran through the narrow hallways. Blasters fired behind them, blue light bursting against walls. Logan turned and fired back, hitting one tracker square in the chest. Vena took the lead, clearing the path with sharp, precise shots. Even in danger, she moved like a trained fighter. They reached the hangar bay. The ship waited, powered up, and glowing faintly with Laura's touch. They rushed inside as more shots chased their heels. Logan jumped into the pilot's seat. "Hang on," he shouted. The engines roared and the ship lifted off fast. Behind them, the outpost grew smaller and smaller until it disappeared in the black of space. Inside, silence returned. Laura sat shaking, Vena breathing hard beside her. Logan looked back at them. "I'm sorry," he said. "I trusted the wrong person." Vena didn't answer. She just placed her hand gently on Laura's shoulder. Laura looked up, tears still on her face. "I was so scared," she whispered. Logan knelt beside her. "You were brave," he said. "You didn't run alone. You stayed with us." And for the first time, Laura reached out and took his hand. It was a small gesture, but powerful, a sign of trust. In that moment, they weren't just fugitives anymore. They were something more, a team, a family, and, as the stars stretched out before them, Logan swore to himself they would never be chained again. The ship flew quietly through deep space. The stars outside were calm, but inside, the three souls carried fire in their hearts. Logan stared at the screen in front of him, his fingers frozen above the controls. A message blinked softly at the top corner. Broadcast link ready. He had made up his mind. They had been running too long. The galaxy needed to know the truth. Behind him, Vena paced back and forth, her gold eyes burning. "We can't hide forever," she said. "But once you send that, we'll never be safe again." "I know," Logan replied quietly. "But I'm done playing by their rules." Laura sat beside the console, her soft blue skin glowing faintly in the ship's low light. She looked nervous, her hands in her lap. "But what if they come faster?" she asked. "They'll see me. They'll come for me." Logan turned to her, his voice calm. "They're already coming, Laura, but this way. They won't just be coming for you. They'll be coming for all of us, and the galaxy will finally see what they're hiding." He opened the feed to a secure network, one used by underground freedom channels and smuggler relays. It wasn't perfect, but it would reach millions, maybe more. He took a breath and started recording. "Name's Logan. I used to be a soldier. I fought in battles that made no headlines. Followed orders I never understood." He paused, his voice heavy. "I was rewarded once. Not with medals or honors, but with 2 living beings in chains, given as prizes, like animals. And when I chose both, I was thrown out like garbage." He looked into the lens, but I saw the truth. Those 2 women were survivors, not just victims. One of them, Laura, has powers even the enemy fears. They locked her up because they couldn't control her. He stepped aside, and Laura came into view. She looked scared, but nodded slowly. Then she spoke. "My name is Laura. I don't want to hurt anyone. I just wanted to sing again and see light again. But they called me a weapon. They locked me in a cage." Vena stepped in next, her voice firm and proud. "I am Vena of the Shari. I was raised to fight, but not for the Dravik. I escaped only to be sold like cattle. I would have died in chains if not for this human." She looked at Logan, then back to the screen. He broke the chain. Logan returned to the front and stared hard into the camera. I don't care what the law says. I don't care who calls me a traitor. These women are not things. They are people, and I dare you to look into their eyes and say otherwise. He ended the recording, his heart pounded. Then he hit send. The message flew across the galaxy through pirate networks, refugee relays. Even old war satellites. People everywhere began to see it: miners on far-off moons, scavengers, smugglers, farmers, even soldiers, and reactions exploded. Some cried, some cursed, some cheered, fists raised high. And some, those in power, screamed in rage back on the ship. Logan leaned back. It's done, he said. Vena looked at him. We just started a war of truth, she said. I hope you're ready. Lura touched the console again, and soft lights danced under her fingers. I'm not afraid anymore, she whispered, but far away. In a black tower that floated above a ruined world, a tall figure in golden armor stared at the screen. The broadcast was playing in front of him. He clenched his metal fists. Activate the hunters. He ordered. They have shown her face. Send the full swarm on a dozen planets. Silent ships rose into the sky. No flags, no warnings. Just dark holes and red lights. They were coming, back aboard the ship. Logan checked the scanners. There's movement, fast ships. Heading toward our last known location, they're tracking the signal. Vena said. Laura closed her eyes and spoke softly. I feel them. They're not just machines. They're like hounds built to chase me. Logan's face hardened. Then we don't run anymore. Vena smiled, just a little. Now you're talking. They flew toward the only place where answers could be found, an ancient moon filled with forgotten ruins. Laura said it came to her in dreams, a place where her people once stood, where her power might find its voice. The ship turned its course, engines burning brighter. A new purpose burned inside all three of them, not just survival, but truth. Freedom and the hope of a future without chains. And across the stars, more voices began to rise. Logan's message echoed, and the galaxy was listening. Asterisk, the ship came out of warp with a sudden jolt. Before them floated a silent gray moon, broken and full of scars. It looked dead, like a rock lost in time, but Laura sat up straighter the moment she saw it. That's it, she whispered. I've seen it before. In my dreams, Logan slowed the ship, scanning the surface. No life signs, he said. But something's pulsing underneath. He turned to her. You sure about this place? Laura nodded slowly. It was once a temple, I think. My people built it before the fall. Vena loaded her blaster and checked the engine heat. I don't like it, she muttered. Looks like a graveyard. Logan gave her a small smile. Let's hope it's not ours. They landed on a wide stone platform surrounded by ancient towers. Wind howled across the moon's surface. Dust blew through cracks in the carved stone. Strange symbols glowed faintly along the walls, soft, blue, and old. Laura stepped down first, drawn by something deeper than memory. She walked slowly, like the ground was speaking to her feet. As they entered a half-collapsed hallway, she reached out and touched a wall. The glow under her skin matched the markings perfectly. This place knows me, she said. It remembers, suddenly. The air around them changed. The floor vibrated softly, and the wall opened into a chamber none of them saw before. Inside stood a tall stone chair, surrounded by floating orbs of light. Laura stepped forward. But Logan caught her arm. Wait, he said. We don't know what this is, but... Laura smiled. Calm, I do, she said. It's a key. She stepped into the chamber, and the door closed behind her. Logan and Vena banged on it, shouting her name inside. Laura floated in midair, energy wrapping around her like silk. Visions flashed in her mind, stars, battles, her people screaming. Then a whisper spoke. Awaken. You are not broken. You are the last light outside. Logan's wrist calm beeped fast. Ships incoming fast and dark. They found us, he growled. Vayna turned to face the platform, her blaster ready. How many? Logan checked the screen. Too many dark ships appeared above the ruins. Blocking out the sky, they didn't speak or ask for surrender. They just opened fire. Explosions tore through the outer towers. Logan pushed Vayna behind cover. We hold them here, he said. We don't let them take her again. The fight began. Vayna moved like a shadow, her shots sharp and deadly. Logan used cover to snipe enemy drones one by one, but there were too many. Then a larger ship landed at the edge of the platform. From it stepped a tall figure in black armor, its face hidden behind a silver mask. Its voice boomed through a speaker, returned the girl, and you may live. Logan stood tall. You want her? He shouted, come and get her. The black figure raised one hand and a swarm of hunter drones rushed forward. Inside the chamber, Laura floated higher, her eyes now glowing bright white. The visions became clearer. Her people were creators of energy and balance. They were wiped out by the same force chasing her now, but before they fell, it left her here sleeping, a spark for the future. The stone beneath her opened, revealing a glowing core of light. She reached for it, and the chamber exploded with energy outside. The attackers stopped, their machines freezing midair. Light burst from the temple, hitting the black-armored leader and lifting him into the sky. He screamed, his armor cracking as Laura stepped out of the chamber. Her feet touched the ground softly, but power shook. The entire moon, Logan and Vayna stared at her, breathless. Laura's voice echoed through the air. Enough, she said. You will not take me again. She raised one hand, and the hunter ships exploded in the sky. One by one, their dark forms vanished in blue fire. The black-armored leader dropped to his knees, smoke rising from his chest. He looked up at Laura, his voice weak. You were supposed to be controlled. Laura looked down at him. I am not your weapon, she said. I am their voice. I am the last of the Starborn with one final wave. She sent the last attackers into the void. Silence returned to the moon. The dust settled, and only 3 figures stood among the ruins. Logan stepped forward, eyes wide. Lyra, what are you now? She turned to him, her glow fading gently. I don't know, she said, but I'm no longer afraid. Vayna walked up, bruised but smiling. I knew there was more to you, she said, but I didn't think you were. A goddess. Lyra laughed softly. I'm just someone who wants to be free. And with that, they looked up at the sky. The stars still waited, and their journey was far from over. The moon was quiet again. The ruins still glowed faintly, touched by Lyra's power. But the battle was over. The ships were gone, the enemies defeated, and in that silence, something new was born. Peace. Logan sat on a broken stone near the ship, watching the sky. His arm was wrapped in bandages, bruises along his face. He was tired, but alive behind him. The temple's glow lit up the dusty air like morning sunlight. Vayna walked over and sat beside him, her face scratched but calm. She said nothing at first, just handed him a water flask. He drank quietly, then looked at her. You still think I'm crazy for choosing both of you? Vayna smirked. I thought you were a fool, she said. Now I think you're just stubborn. They both laughed, soft, tired, but real, for the first time since this all began. The laughter wasn't forced. It wasn't hiding fear. Lyra stepped out from the ruins. Her steps were light, her skin still glowing gently under the pale sky. But her power didn't feel dangerous anymore. It felt warm, like sunlight after a storm. She walked slowly toward them, barefoot, her eyes clear and bright. Logan stood up, unsure what to say. Laura looked at him and smiled. You kept your promise, she said. He nodded. I said I'd keep you safe. She looked around the quiet moon, and now. You don't have to. Vena crossed her arms. You're strong now, she said. You don't need us anymore. Laura shook her head. No. I'm stronger because of you. You gave me a choice. A name. A voice. She turned to Logan. You chose both of us when no one else would. You could have taken one. Left the other, but you saw something in us, even when we didn't. Logan looked at both of them. Vena, the warrior with sharp eyes and a guarded heart. Luru, the glowing girl who once shook in fear, but now stood tall like a queen. He smiled. I didn't know what I was doing back then, he admitted. I just knew. No one deserves to live in chains. Laura stepped closer and reached for his hand. We want to choose now, she said. Not just where to go, but who to go with. Vena nodded, slowly. We're not your burden anymore, she said. We're your partners. Sif, you'll have us? Logan looked down at their hands, then up at the sky. For the first time in his life, the stars didn't feel cold or distant. They felt full of promise. He squeezed their hands and said, Wherever you go, I'll be right there. We started this together. Let's finish it the same way. The ship sat ready, its systems humming softly. Laura touched the control panel, and it lit up immediately. She's yours now, Logan said. Laura looked at him. No, she replied gently. She's ours. They flew into space once more. Not as fugitives, not as prey, but as something new. A team, a voice for the voiceless, a spark in the dark. Logan sent one last message into the stars. This is Logan. I'm no hero, but I stood for two women who were treated like property. And now, we stand together. If you're out, they're trapped, chained, forgotten, know this. You are not alone. We're coming, and across the galaxy, that message spread like fire. 2 rebel cells, 2 secret colonies, 2 silent prisoners. The name Laura Starborn became a whisper of hope. Vena Shari became a symbol of strength. And Logan the Defier, a name even the slavers began to fear. In time, they would build something greater, a home for the broken. A place where no one had to choose between freedom and kindness, where no one would be left behind. Because one man once said, I'll take both, and that one choice changed everything. The stars were calling. And together, they answered.